So I played Battlefront 2. I finished the campaign and I played a lot of multiplayer. I mean a lot. I've spent the past few days doing nothing but this game simply for this review. So I'm going to give you an honest review, the most honest review you're going to get about this game, the most unbiased review, and I'm going to tell you at the end whether you should skip it or if you should buy it. That's why it's called Skip It or Buy It. So let's start off with the campaign of this game, Battlefront 2. The campaign's generic. That's as simple as you're going to get this campaign for. It is very generic. It's a multiplayer campaign. What I mean by that is everything you do in the multiplayer, you do in the campaign. You shoot people. There's nothing special, there's nothing unique about this campaign at all. What I mean by that is if you look at a game like Titanfall 2, and I use them because they're by EA and it's a relatively good game. I believe it is by EA. So Titanfall 2, the campaign was great. It was nominated for Game of the Year for a reason. That game was. It was an under-marketed campaign or game itself, but it was a very good campaign game. And why is that? Because if you look at the Titanfall 2 multiplayer versus single player, it is relatively the same. But it's also different because there are things you can do in a campaign that you cannot do in multiplayer because you have 20 different people that are unpredictable. However, in the campaign, you can write one person does things unpredictably, but everyone else, all his enemies, are written to do a certain thing. And that's what happened in the Titanfall 2 campaign. At the very end, you get an epic battle of Titans, like 20 Titans versus the other 20 Titans. And it's really cool. And you couldn't do something like that in the actual multiplayer because it just doesn't work like that. That doesn't happen. But it works well in the campaign because you can do certain things. They do the same thing with Battlefield. They do the same with Call of Duty. The campaigns and the multiplayers are different, and there's a lot of cool things you can do in the campaigns that you cannot do in the multiplayer. Battlefront 2 is not like that at all. The campaign is so generic that you might as well not have even played it because it's literally just the multiplayer. The characters are boring. The only interesting characters are the characters you've already developed relationships with, like Han Solo, like Luke Skywalker, Leia Organa, and Lando Calrissian, and believe it or not, Kylo Ren. You don't get that connection though with Iden Versio, Del, and Hask because they're just bland characters. They're very boring. The most connection you get is with Del, and it's because he teams up with Luke Skywalker and talks about his feelings. That's about it. The other character that's really cool in the campaign is the blue-headed guy named like Shiv himself. I can't remember. He's really funny and witty. He gives a lot of good humor. But overall, the whole campaign is dry. I mean, you even have a droid in there that they literally just called Droid. And it's like, if you've been working with this droid for a long time, and we know this because of the Inferno Squad, why don't you name the droid to build connection with it so we can actually connect with the droid and think it's cute? But I think it's an annoyance because they literally just call it Droid. That's stupid. But anyways, so the campaign's bland, it's generic. There's not much to do in it in terms of story. It gets so bad and boring that they have to put heroes in to make the campaign longer and seem more interesting. And it gets so bad, the lowest point in this game is when Han Solo shows up with a beard, which was weird, but fair enough. He looked fine, I guess. But he also walks around Maz Kanata's castle and looks for another guy with a beard. That literally was like 3 to 5 minutes of the campaign, right there. Looking for a guy, walking around. Are you kidding me? Like, and people are saying this is a good campaign. I mean, Mark Hamill or Luke Skywalker looks like freaking Michael J. Fox from Back to the Future. I don't know where they got the hairstyle for that, but God, that was ugly. But anyway, so let's get off the campaign. It was generic, it was boring, and don't expect anything from it. It was a waste of a campaign, and I'm so disappointed they put this in because it's exactly what I thought it would be, where they say, oh, we gave you a campaign, so it's better than the last one, right? Yeah, but, that's still messed up. So, let's get to the multiplayer, the meat of everything. The campaign's the appetizer, this is the main meal. Multiplayer is the reason you're going to come back to this game. It should be, at least. It's the whole reason you buy the game. You should be playing multiplayer for 6 months to a year, because it should be that good. And the multiplayer, like I said, is, it's beautiful. It looks great. It feels like Star Wars. That's great. I love that. But ask yourself this. If you're playing Battlefront 2, or if you're watching it, let's say you're watching gameplay, take away the Star Wars aspect of it. Take away all the skins and everything and put it in a Call of Duty. Put it in a Battlefield. Put it in any other first-person kind of shooter thing. Would you still play it? That's an important question because honestly, it's kind of generic as well. The star card system is interesting. It's hard to progress, and that's a big problem with this game, is because the reason it's hard to progress with star cards is you can only get star cards through loot boxes. You can't buy them themselves or anything. It's not like Call of Duty where you get a perk and you can buy that if you hit a certain rank and then you can buy which perk you want. No, the only way you can get a star card that you want is if you unlock it through a loot box. That's a big problem with this game because people who want certain star cards aren't going to get it. I don't like star cards. because I feel like it's trying to make this game competitive. And a lot of people got mad at me and other people for criticizing EA for making us unlock characters and whatnot and having to grind in this game, because they say, well, you know, you shouldn't just ask for everything to be handed to you on a plate. Yeah, I paid for it, so you know, I'm not gonna order a dinner and them say, well, you gotta work for the meat. You can't have your dessert yet because you gotta eat your salad first. No, I paid for it, so give me my salad. And give me my cake, at least, God. Anyways, so people were saying that, you know, you have to work in this game. You should be able to grind, you know, games shouldn't be handing everything over to you. Okay, the problem I have with that is, and because they compared it to Call of Duty is a competitive game. You're supposed to be grinding to get where you want to. This is a casual, laid-back game, or it should be, and they're trying far too hard to be competitive with these star cards. Battlefront should have been, at least in my opinion, a casual game where you just relax and chill and play. Anyone can be good at this game. That's a big reason I like it, is because it is casual. However, the star cards kind of take away from that, because they give certain characters enhancements and everything, and you know, you got to unlock certain star cards and all that stuff. I don't like that, because it's like, it should be a casual game. Everyone just relaxes and they play and they feel like they're in the Star Wars universe, instead of competing to get #1. Another problem with this game, speaking of #1 at least, is that when you're playing in a match, everyone wants to be the hero or the villain. They don't want to play anything else but a Jedi or a Sith or anything like that. And the reason being is, why? Because it does feel kind of awesome playing these characters. The problem with this, however, though, is you earn points in the game, and everyone waits until they get 6,000 or 8,000 points to go and play a character that they want. Well, then what happens? All the characters below them, like the superhero battle droids and all that, and the ships and the tanks and all that stuff, all the enhanced soldiers, no one plays them. Why? Because you don't want to play them, and it takes up half the credits that it does to get a hero. So what happens? Everyone skips over that. By the time you hit 6,000 points, the game's over because your team lost because no one wanted to take the bullet and play a super enhanced battle droid. And so problems like that really occur, and it's nothing EA can really do unless they want to change up the system to where it's like a kill streak, where if you get 10 kills, you get to be a hero. That would be kind of a good fix, but I'm not sure if everyone would like that. So that's something I feel like they should change a little bit, or try to work on. I don't know if there's anything they can do, but as players, you should really go in, and if you're just trying to win, actually play the game and not try to become a hero. If you want to be a hero or villain so bad, just go play it in Heroes vs. Villains, which is a fine mode, I guess. No complaints really there. Overall, the greatest thing about the multiplayer will be the Starfighter Assault, or I think that's what it's called. Yeah. So Starfighter Assault, basically, it feels cool. It's great. It's kind of the same thing over and over again, really, when it comes to like what you're doing. You're either defending or you're attacking, but it does feel great. You're fighting in space. You're taking down enemy ships and everything, and it feels good, honestly. I do wish they would have made it where it is more like the old Battlefront 2, where it's like 2 big enemy ships going at it, and you take out the shield generators and everything without landing in the ship, because that was pretty stupid. But overall, the Starfighter stuff is really great. When you're an X-Wing taking down a TIE fighter and everything, that feels so cool, and I love it. It's so authentic, and it does feel like Star Wars. It's quite amazing, because it has that realism of what it actually would feel like in, you know, space if you're fighting like this, and it's very chaotic. So I love that. I think everyone likes that, and it's my favorite mode personally. It's a lot of people's favorite modes because it feels so cool and real that it's hard to not play. But you get to the ground stuff, and it's kind of like, you know, it's good, but after a while it does get boring. And that's a big problem with this game, is that it's not that it's too casual where it's so boring, it's just that there's not that much to do, really. My big problem was I kept getting the same maps. I kept wanting to play different maps, and I didn't really get that option, and there's no way I can really pick my own maps, so that was kind of an annoyance. And so I feel like there should be, I'm not going to say more maps, but they should kind of either randomize it a little more or something, because I'm tired of playing on, you know, Kashyyyk. I'm tired of playing on Hoth and Tokodona and whatnot. I want to play on Kamino more, and there's so many other maps like Yavin 4 and Endor, which are really cool, but I can't play them because I have no idea why. It just won't let me. Also, the loading time on this game is kind of bad. When you get out of a match, if you quit a match, you know, you're at the loading screen, for me, about like 20 to 30 seconds. And, you know, I'm not saying that's the worst time in the world. If it's even that, it might be a minute sometimes. And so it's kind of lengthy and long and annoying, but still. So, overall, the game is okay. I mean, always ask yourself, if you take away the Star Wars part of it, would it be a good game? And the answer is kind of not really. It would be a very generic game. overall, the game is entertaining if you're trying to look for something that feels exactly like Star Wars. But if you're trying to look for something that's going to keep you hooked for a long time, this is not the game for you. You're basically, yet again, paying $60 for the multiplayer, and yes, you're getting free DLC this time. But there's so many things that are wrong with this game, and including, you know, the progression system. And also, problem for me at least is when I'm playing, it feels so authentic. It's taken away when I see someone from a different era playing, and I already made a video about it. But it's just kind of annoying when I'm like a separatist and I'm attacking Theed, and I see Luke Skywalker killing all the droids. Because it kind of takes away that feeling of, you know, I'm actually in the Star Wars universe, and it gives you back to that feeling of, oh, this is just a video game, and anything can happen. So that's kind of annoying, and it's just me being picky. It's not, you might not care about it, I personally do. So yeah, that's a little bit of a problem. But other than that, that's really all I have to say about the game. I'm not going to sit here and tell you that it's the worst game in the world. It's far better than the last one, and that's going to be the biggest selling point right here. If you think it's better than the last one, and you love the last one, you're going to adore this game. You're going to think it's the greatest thing ever. However, you didn't like the last one, and you weren't really hyped about this one, and you thought the very last one was bland, then you're not going to like this game. Because the only difference between the last one and this one is that there's a campaign, and that there's not any power pickups anymore. Those are now called star cards. So, yeah, take that as you will. Whether you should skip it or buy it, how do you think you should spend your $60? I personally, if I was really going to be honest with you and advise you, I don't think you'll be missing much if you don't play this game. If you look at a year from now, I don't think anyone's going to be like, you didn't play Battlefront 2? It's an instant classic, man. I think they're going to be like, oh yeah, that was a okay game. It's not something I recommend playing with your friends every night. It's not something I recommend doing every day. It's a very generic multiplayer game. And that's it. I mean, I can't really give you much after that. It feels like a Star Wars game. That's cool. That's great. But I'm not having a blast with it. There's nothing that's making me go, wow, this is amazing. It's just like, oh, this is cool. You know, this is relaxing, I guess. But overall, I wouldn't buy it again. That's for damn sure. If I lost it today and it broke, I'd be like, all right, fine. RIP. I played the campaign. It wasn't worth buying. It wasn't worth playing. And the multiplayer itself is more or less like the first one, just bigger. And that's it. So yeah, there's some good things about this game, but there's also some things that this game lacks, and that's just connectivity. It doesn't really connect me too much. And a lot of people are going to disagree with me, and that's fine. Comment your thoughts below. Do you love this game? Are you going to buy this game? Are you going to skip it or buy it? I know this review probably isn't the greatest in the world, but it's the best I can give you. I'm 110% honest about this stuff, and I try not to lie to you guys. So if you made it this far, congratulations. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Comment your thoughts. Are you going to buy this game? Are you not? And just tell me how you think. So, I'm Star Wars Only. I'll see y'all next time. May the Force be with you, always.